Calling all instructional coaches. Join Forward Edge for Coaches Camp in summer 2023. Coaches Camp is packed with high-quality professional development exclusively for you. Attendees will work with like-minded coaches on creating strategies for building teacher relationships, executing coaching cycles, and building a culture of coaching and tech integration within their district. Come visit us in Cincinnati on July 27th and 28th. Please visit forward-edge.net/coachcamp to reserve your spot today.
Aloha, I'm Katie Ritter.
And I'm Justin Thomas, and this is the Restart Recharge podcast, a podcast by coaches for coaches. We bring the tips and tricks to help you in your everyday work as an instructional coach or whatever they call you in your school.
So hopefully you're going to leave this episode with us today feeling just a little bit less on your own coaching island.
That's right, and we are into the summer months. It's finally come. It seems like, I'm sure as a coach when you're in your school, that never seems like it's going to happen. But
maybe you're on a real island now.
Maybe you're on a real island right now. That'd be nice. You should phone us in and tell us where you're at. But as you know, over the summer, there's also a lot of conferences that come up, and Google for Education is always in the forefront of innovation to best equip educators with their instructional and educational technology needs. But how do they get the new innovations in the minds of educators? They have all this cool stuff that comes out, but they're not really sure how to get it out there sometimes. So through a partnership with Forward Edge, the creation of the Google Adaptive Learning Lab allowed for a fast-paced but interactive sessions for educators to learn new Google tools from instructional coaches. So the main event was at ISTE 22 last year, but two coaches have took the show on the road here and toured the United States to continue this show-off of Google features in a new and exciting way. So we're going to learn more from Angela Lyman and Jamie Clausius about these event that they have done and traveled across the country and what to expect coming on the horizon as ISTE 23 in a couple of weeks. We're going to be there again performing this. So let us first introduce Angela Lyman. Angela is the Learning Programs Coordinator at Forward Edge. Her classroom experience has taken her from the outback of Australia to the heart of London in England, and most recently to teaching K-6 technology in Cincinnati. So follow that journey. That's quite the journey Angela's got on here. Angela's passion for technology kicked off as she attended a coding course back in 2012. She has immersed herself in learning about technology ever since. So welcome in, Angela.
Thank you, Justin. It's a pleasure to be here.
Welcome. And I have the pleasure of introducing Jamie Clausius. And might I just say, before I introduce Jamie, it is allergy season here in the Midwest, so if I make it through this podcast without sneezing or having some sort of
I'm the same boat,
breakdown,
so
it will be a miracle. Okay, Jamie is an instructional design coach here at Forward Edge, and she has also assisted in the traveling road show for Google's Adaptive Learning Lab that we're talking about here today. Prior to coaching, Jamie was a 7th through 12th grade science teacher with 10 years of classroom and leadership experience. She enjoys working with teachers, students, and administrators to contribute their passion for teaching, learning, and supporting education. And in her free time, Jamie enjoys traveling, hiking, boating, and spending time with family and friends. So Jamie, we are super excited to have you on the podcast with us here today too.
Hey there, guys. Thanks for having me.
Yeah. To kick us off, because we actually started this journey prior to both Angela and Jamie joining the team with ISTE last year, as Justin mentioned in the introduction. So kind of just a super quick background. We at Forward Edge, we are a Google professional development partner. So we do a lot of different events like with our local school districts and different opportunities to teach educators how to really embrace the suite of Google for Education tools for teaching and learning. And we're pretty passionate about it. And so through that work that we do as a PD partner, we were actually chosen to develop the content and the experience for ISTE last year. So it was a whirlwind. It was really exciting. We learned so much.
In a short amount of time.
Yeah, grew as a team. Justin here in our office, maybe we should send a tweet out with this episode. But Justin took down one of the design elements. If you were there at ISTE last year, it was a little trophy that was hanging in the room at ISTE, and it's actually hanging in our office now. So that was kind of a fun, triumphant moment for Justin to bring the trophy back home for us. But really kind of the why make a podcast episode out of this that I'm hoping our listeners will gain And something that I thought was just really cool as we went through the experience, and how I think it's awesome that it has expanded for now the two of you to take this on a road show across the country, is I just think it's a really cool spin on professional development. And I'm not going to like steal the thunder, because I know the two of you are going to talk about that a little bit. But for me, I think it's a really cool way, especially for our technology coaches, but regardless of what type of coach you are, whether you're introducing a new curriculum program or an instructional strategy or a new tool, I just think it's a really cool way, and how it tells a story. This is PD that tells a story within the context of, everything we're talking about is like a 40-minute session of content here. So it might sound as they talk like it was a full day event, but it's not. It's like little chunks of sessions. So I just think it's a cool, like, unique and different way to think about putting PD on for your teachers. So with that, ladies, I'll turn it over to you to give us, for those folks who maybe weren't at ISTE last year, or they haven't been at one of the conferences throughout this school year that you've all been at, to present the Adaptive Learning Lab. Give us an overview. What is it? What the heck is this Adaptive Learning Lab?
Yeah, so it's pretty much just like a really immersive hands-on experience for anybody who chooses to come to one of our sessions. They all get to use a professional Chromebook, which is really great. They get to see the great features that come along with that. And then we really just take all of our participants kind of along a journey with us, kind of through like a typical teacher day. We start out with lesson planning and use some different tools through Google and show how teachers can use those. And then we take it into lesson implementation, how you can actually implement all of these different tools in your class with your students to really impact learning. And then we wrap it up with some feedback, how you can really give some good constructive feedback to your students and kind of bring families along into that to really make sure students are, doing the best that they can in their class.
Awesome. Angela, will you give us an example of one of the tools or activities that are done?
Sure. So one of the great tools that we love to introduce and have the participants work on themselves is the practice sets. So in the beginning, they get to see it from the teacher's perspective, how to create one. Then in the middle section, they get to see it from the student's perspective. And then, as Jamie mentioned, they get to see the feedback side of things as to help them guide for their next steps for lesson planning and teaching their classes.
Yeah, and I'm going to ask a little bit of a leading question here, but when you are doing practice sets, do you say, okay, now we're going to do practice sets, and you teach practice sets, or talk a little bit more about how that's kind of woven in again with this idea of like the story?
Again, so yeah, we definitely start out with practice sets from the teacher's perspective, how you can actually build a practice set, all of the elements that come along with it. So that's through the lesson planning portion. And then we kind of come back and circle back around to practice sets so that the participants can
after
actually
having
see
done
it.
some other things around lesson planning,
Yes,
right?
Exactly, right. Our whole first portion of the session really is all around lesson planning and different tools that teachers can use to lesson plan for their students. Once we wrap up lesson planning, we move on to that implementation piece, how you can actually use this with your students in your class. So those participants actually are able to see that same practice set from the student's perspective. They can see how students work through the practice set, all of the great features that come along with it, to really see what students are going to experience as they work through a practice set. And then that's all within that implementation piece.
And they're actually taking the practice set.
They are.
Too.
They're taking the practice set. They're answering questions. They're seeing the feedback that comes along with it. A lot of immediate feedback that students get while they're taking that practice set. And then we kind of wrap it up at the end of our session is all about feedback. So with that practice set comes the Teacher's Insights Dashboard, which is a really great way for teachers to not only collect data on their students' learning, but it also helps the teachers actually kind of analyze that data and really use it to inform their instruction moving forward.
Yeah, awesome. Thank you.
Well, it's important to collect students too. I mean, you want to make sure your students are all in
Yeah.
the classroom as well.
Gotta round them up.
Awesome. Well, obviously, I mean, it's a very interactive session that both of you have. And did you ever see yourself in a position like this where you were traveling around and really showing off some amazing new features that are on the horizon for Google for Education. But did you see yourself ever in a position like this down the road, or maybe not necessarily like that's what I want to do when I grow up? But how did this kind of change come, and kind of what have been some aspects you've enjoyed about it?
Well, firstly, no.
That's the short answer, I guess.
There's safety in being in a room with children, right? You can say what you want, and then there's a safety with them. But so it was a little daunting to think, oh gosh, now I'm speaking to a room full of adults, and there's a lot of them, and they all have expertise of their own. But actually, I found that I really quite love it. I mean, it's fun. I love the things that we're showing them, and you get lots of wow factors, and you can see how engaged the participants are, and it's just fun to meet people from all around the country. So yes, I'm enjoying it, but it was not what I was expecting.
Sure. And obviously it's a situation where, you both mentioned it, but you're not just saying, all right, here's practice sets. You're actually showing teachers, this is it from the teacher side, this is how you can use it. Then you show it from the student side so you can see what they are getting from it. So how do you kind of move that to what our listeners are trying to figure out here with as instructional coaches? What are some nuggets that you've learned from presenting multiple places, how to best kind of use for our listeners in terms of what they're going to actually do and take away from this episode, and how do I present all these cool tools but in a way actually is meaningful to the adult educators that are of different expertises in the room?
Yeah, I think a couple of different things. It's really important, instead of just taking one tool and presenting it from maybe top to bottom, really taking it through that story like we've been talking about, seeing it from all different perspectives, so that everybody within the session can really relate to it and take it home with them. And they have something, oh, I can actually use this in my classroom. I know how my students are going to perceive it when they're going through it as well. So I think just using it in more of a storyline rather than this is the tool, this is how it works, and kind of going from there.
I think people connect along the way with this story. People are getting, I hadn't thought of it from that perspective, and there's obviously other tools along the way. Oh, that one would work for this situation. I think you can see them thinking through that as well. And then just as a former technology teacher, the other takeaway would be just, it's okay. Things can work and things can be a little bit glitchy, but eventually it all rolls together and comes forward, so it's good.
Yes. Okay, well, we are going to take a quick break from our sponsors, but we will be back in just a quick minute.
Calling all instructional technology coaches, Forward Edge has launched a new hub for coaches to find strategies and resources to use for their coaching. The EDU Coach Network provides a place for instructional coaches to come together for coach-specific professional development, building a community, and finding mentorship moving through the school year. The network provides a place to casually seek resources or join in with book clubs, Twitter chats, webinars, and workshops, along with much more. Join the EDU Coach Network by going to educoachnetwork.com and join the coach community today. Edu Badges, the Anytime Anywhere badging program to learn EdTech tools and strategies, is now open for individuals to sign up. Whether you're an instructional coach looking for new ideas to share, or a teacher wanting to implement more technology in your classroom, Edu Badges is the answer. Individuals can now sign up for both the free or premium account by visiting edubadges.com. And as a listener of the podcast, you can get $20 off your premium account by using promo code PODCAST. So visit edubadges.com and begin earning your badges.
All right, welcome back to the Restart Recharge podcast. You have your co-hosts Justin Thomas and Katie Ritter here, and we are speaking with Angela Lyman and Jamie Clausius about the Google for Education Adaptive Learning Lab that was first introduced at ISTE in 2022. We're going to be getting into in just a second maybe a little bit of what that might look like in 2023, but these ladies have been traveling around the country putting this on and kind of looking at how it's a unique take that our coaches might be able to walk away with to think about their own PD, to maybe spice things up a little bit. So with that, let's take a little nod and see, Angela, I'll ask you, because I know you've been already early involved in some of the planning. What, if anything, can we expect about this sort of experience at ISTE 2023 in Philadelphia in a couple of weeks?
Oh, well, thank you, Katie. Well, I can't give away too many any details,
Fair.
but I can share with you. It will be another hands-on learning experience where people get to engage with devices and the new tools or features. And everyone will get to participate with a professional Chromebook like they have before. And then we'll be doing some sessions, so you'll have to look for the name. So Google for Education, and it's going to be called Made for the Way You Teach sessions. Okay. And I believe you can register for those sessions through the ISTE site, and Perfect. They are running every 30 minutes while we're there. So.
Yeah, and that was something that I think folks didn't realize last time. So if you're a listener and you're going to ISTE, or you're a listener and you know some colleagues going to ISTE, you do have to pre-register for this event. Mm-hmm. So as Angela just said, it runs every 30 minutes pretty much for the duration of Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. When the conference hours are open, you do have to pre-register. So Google Events fill up quickly, so be sure to get in there and pre-register for yourself.
Yeah, so if you are currently working with Google for Education tools, or if you're just wanting to learn a little bit more about them, you're brand new, please come join the sessions. Make sure you pre-register. There's going to be something for everybody. Everybody's going to be able to learn a little bit, or maybe you're going to come and learn a lot. We just hope you come and enjoy.
Yeah, and I would build on that too in the context of kind of the theme of this episode. I think even if you're just looking, maybe you're not even using Google tools in your school, but you want to understand what the heck do we mean by this story and how things are woven together. It may or may not be exactly like it was last year, but I think you'll still get an idea of, in the context of how do different tools work together and how might you weave those in together for your teachers. So even if you're just looking for some ideas, if you lead and deliver professional development, I think you could get some good ideas too.
Absolutely, especially because it is very much immersive, very much weaving, as you mentioned, the two. It's not just, all right, here's a new tool. It's actually going to show you very tangible ways that you can use it, and then as a teacher and what it looks like on the student side. So it's going to be a nice rope in, and as you mentioned too, even if you're just looking for new ideas for your own PD, you can kind of see how this all plays out and then take some notes and take that back to your school district there as well.
Heck
so
yeah.
Obviously we like to finish our episodes on our top 3 tips.
I feel like it hasn't landed on you in a while, so you really just went for it.
I did go for it. It's been a minute. It has been a minute, but that's okay. So it's back to me how to really put the enunciation there. But for both of you, what are your top 3 tips for kind of presenting in this way that instructional coaches can then take back and how they can deliver their own PD?
I think some of my top tips would just be to be flexible. Every conference we go to is different. It looks different. There's different people there. The sessions run a little bit differently. So just being really flexible. Angela and I have gotten really great at that throughout the last couple of months of traveling together. So staying flexible is key. I think another one of my great tips would just be to find somebody. Well, to be honest, we got paired up together and it has been pretty great. Being able to work with somebody who can really count on. I know if I'm struggling with something, Angela's right there to pick me up and move me forward, and she's just somebody that I can really count on. So we really have each other's backs while we're traveling, while we're presenting, the entire time that we're away at the conference. So I really appreciate Angela for that.
And my tips are so a little bit building on the flexibility, also being contextual, because as Jamie mentioned, we are at a different venue and every layout is different. It's not the same. And so you just roll with it in the context of it. And then right back at you, Jamie. I couldn't do this without you. She's been a great team player, team partner. I just know she's there for me if I need help with something. So it's very much a team
effort
from start to finish. And then my last little tip is pack snacks, because sometimes those days are long.
Our sessions can go back to back sometimes. And, Angela, she's always got those snacks. She's got us covered.
Yeah. So whether you're doing a traveling road show or you're traveling to conferences this summer, those are some great tips. I know I learned a tip years ago. Do you guys know those tuna kits? I feel like some people think this is so disgusting.
Right?
I know.
Tuna?
I hope
tuna? That's
please
what
don't
you're
turn
coming
us
up
off
with?
just yet. They're like little packets
Maybe
of
should it be?
tuna, and they come with little crackers and like mayo and relish and a little spoon. You like mix it up, and then you have like your little tuna salad crackers, and it's just in this
A
little
little
box.
quick snack.
Yeah, but it's good because it's a little protein in it. Like
There you
you
go.
can pack it on a plane,
That's
you can
fair.
pack it in your travel. Like if you're checking a carry-on, they'll pack in a carry-on. So anyway, that's my tip to tip 3A, building off of Angela's, is tuna kits are where it's at for conference snacks.
All right, Angela, we got some trips coming up. Looks like we need to go to the grocery store, pick us up some tuna
I am waiting
kits.
for the
Qualifier, you do have to like tuna, I guess.
All right.
But I think they have chicken salad ones too.
I can get down with that.
There you go. Yeah.
I'm out on both of those, but that's okay. Obviously, both of you have some expertise on this matter, but it's been really interesting talking to you. I know you guys always go to these different places and have a great time, it seems like. And you presented, and where are some of the places you presented? Utah, Washington, D.C. You were there recently, Texas. Where else?
And Washington State.
Yes,
Washington
Tacoma.
State. Oh, can't get those two mixed up.
We were in Louisville, Kentucky. You were out in California.
Palm Springs, California. McCall in Michigan.
Okay.
TCEA.
TCEA, yeah.
Yeah. And then Slate and Nicegate.
Oh, that's right. Man, that seems like so long ago. That was back in November and December.
I know. I'm looking
Wow.
at. I'm like looking at you too. I'm like, I don't even remember where I've.
What was that?
So Nicegate is in New
Oh,
York.
nice. I thought you
Sorry,
Yeah.
my accent.
I thought you said
sometimes.
ice. No, that's okay. Yeah, okay. I know where New York is. I
And-
just didn't make the connection there.
Slate is in Wisconsin.
Okay. That's
Which
right.
one, from a conference perspective? I know obviously you two are presenting, but we know like our listeners are always looking for new conferences to go to and get
Yeah.
ideas. I feel like when you're at a conference, even if you're kind of stuck in your room, you were presenting, so you weren't out attending, is what I meant to say. But I still feel like you can like get a vibe, right? And like from the attendees and like who's most excited and who's talking about the cool things they've seen and like the hustle and bustle. So what is maybe this conference seemed like a really great conference that you would recommend that people check out if they're in the region?
I would say, I mean, we didn't list it, but OETC was pretty great in Columbus. I would also say TCEA in Texas was great too. It seemed like a lot of the participants and people attending were really jazzed on a lot of the sessions that they got to attend.
Yeah.
Oddly enough, it was warmer in Columbus than it was in San Antonio. I think
Yes,
we were there, but
Also, as a throwback, we did a recap on TCEA from a session standpoint
did,
a few
yes.
episodes ago.
yeah.
Angela, what do you think?
Well, I say out in Palm Springs is definitely a great vibe out there, and
That was Q.
Was that
Q,
the
Q, yeah.
California weather maybe?
Could have been, yes. Well, and then just sort of like new and interesting things are sort of like a bit of a buzz. So that was kind of fun. And then also at Nicegate, it was cool because they had the weather challenge that weekend, but so many teachers came together and just so that was kind of fun just to see. And apparently they get together. It's always the same weekend right before Thanksgiving, and so that was nice just to see and hear what they're all up to. And they were very engaged and interested. So
Nice.
Awesome. Well, cool. Well, that actually is going to wrap up our episodes until we're going to go into our summer break. But then we're going to come back in kind of the middle of August. And once we come back, we're actually going to kick off with a really good second half of the season for season 3 here. We're going to have Ron Madison. He's going to have a conversation
yay.
with, talking about how he motivates educators to find the best versions of themselves and continue their growing and teaching and impacting students. So that should be a really good one to kick off the second half of season 3 come mid-ish August.
Okay, that's awesome. And this isn't goodbye. This is hopefully see you at ISTE. If you are listening and you will be at ISTE, please definitely come say hello to our team. We will be in the Made for the Way You Teach space, with Google. We also have a couple of coaches who will be presenting in some different places. And then we will also have be with Edu Badges on the vendor hall. So see us there too.
Yeah.
And with that, be sure to subscribe to Restart Recharge wherever you listen to podcasts and follow us on all the social media at RRCoachCast.
As always, feel free to reach out to us. And if you're going to be at ISTE, hit us up on the social media and let us know. And let me know where to get a good Philly cheesesteak because we're going to be in Philadelphia.
Oh my gosh,
down
remind me
for
to
that.
tell you a story of that.
Okay. It should be okay. All right. I don't know if it's
Now
good
I'm
or bad,
interested.
but no. Yeah, now I think everyone's interested now. But
I don't want to offend any native Philadelphians.
Philadelphia. That's probably a good idea to not do that. Okay. All right. So off air, we'll have a conversation about.
Yeah, all's fair in
story.
love and cheesesteak. So press the restart button.
Recharge your coaching batteries and leave feeling equipped and inspired to coach fearlessly with the Restart Recharge podcast.
A Tech Coach Collective.
That sounds like something my cat eats. Just kidding. That was mean. I'm sorry. That was mean. I thought you should have gone with your peanut butter snacks though.
You know what? That's all right. But tuna cakes, if you're feeding them to the cat or you're packing them for a conference,
I might not be back on after the midsummer.
They will come in handy.
I apologize. That was mean of me. I'm sorry.
Justin, you don't have a mean bone in your body.
Well, that one I felt like that was borderline.
No.
I probably hit right there. So
I could take a good joke.
okay, good.
I thought you were muting me.
I mean myself. I don't touch your thing. That's rude and disrespectful if I was to meet you. So I'm not doing that. Are you gonna ask it? Okay. Feel thrown off if you don't, but
What's
okay.
happening?
Are we recording?
We are recording 5 minutes ago.
Okay.